Okay, folks, happy Friday. Now it's TGIF. Not earlier in the day. Now. we we got to do some maintenance, man. I'm under bombardment, as you can see. I the other night I was making these. This is the original bombardment thing. Bombardment, blaming. Oh, let's change this to the right chat here. There we go. And yesterday I really didn't have much time to go on, but I did have enough time to spray these. So I didn't actually have this as an example. I had it. I left it in here and did the other ones. So as you can see, the other ones I got significantly darker, and I really didn't put a lot of thought into why I did some of this stuff. I just kind of just jumped in and it just kind of started happening. And one of the things that kind of started happening was the fact that these are painted so dark on purpose. I didn't want one that's light, really light colored flame. If it was that case, the only thing you could use it for would be like white phosphorus, which there are some, but the Germans didn't have any white phosphorus. I don't think they did. It's pretty much an Allied thing and mainly an American thing. WP, Willie P. And is that you could have a situation where something is on fire or destroyed, but it's not actually on fire. So you can use it like this, so it has double appeal. Or, if it actually like catches fire, well then, you've got this. So, but that way you can use it both ways. So, there's not always going to be an explosion every time, but anyways, we've got 5 of these, 4 of the darker ones, and I don't know if you can tell. Well, I know you can't tell because I can't tell. There's black and there's some brown in them as well, and I even did some lighter shades in here. I don't know if it's noticeable. I don't think it is, but just for variety, it did take way too much paint. You think, oh, this is easy. It took forever to do these. Not forever, but the worst thing about it is that it is a synthetic material, whatever the heck this is made out of, and it doesn't absorb paint very well, which means you spray it and it stays wet. So you grab it and my hands are like I just came out of a coal mine. But luckily it's acrylic, so I could have licked my fingers and I would have been okay. Not that I'm going to do that, but it's not toxic. Non-toxic. Okay, so we got something in the mail, and I haven't checked it yet, which means I may have actually gotten the wrong thing. There's always a possibility of that. Surprise! You're fucked. And there is a possibility of that. But this is a company that I've had nothing but good results with, so this would be the first time they disappointed me, if that was the case. And who we're talking about is Litco. I have my address on here, so I will just turn this sideways. And it did arrive. I ordered these, I believe, on Sunday. I believe I ordered these on Sunday or Saturday. Saturday at the latest, at the earliest. And it arrived today, so less than a week. And this is from old Litco here. Oh, I hate these things. No, they're just going to go right back in the box. And these are the heavy-duty magnetic. They're supposed to be the heavy-duty magnetic bottoms, 0.75 inch, which is supposedly what scales well with pennies. I don't think when I got the other ones, I had I used this size. I want to say I used a different size, or they didn't have those available. I got them a long time ago. What do we got here? Litco.net. I'm always promoting their stuff, You should send me a note like, hey, I like that you I don't care. I don't want free shit. Thank you for your purchase. Well, that's the same thing I get. No, I like their stuff. I don't want to be promoted by them because if they somehow drop the ball and start making stuff shittily, I want to call them out on it. But I've had nothing but good results on Litco. So Looks like they got me the right thing. 100 here and 100 here. So it's 200 magnetic base bottoms. I think I'll be good for a while. Now, what we plan on doing is rebasing the figures that I already have painted from many years ago that are pretty much good to go, other than we don't need a T34 out here. Skytrex T34. Other than I am going to add some dull coat to them. And I'm going to not use my normal dull coat method, which would be to use the lacquer. Because, well, I got quite a few figures. I think this is all of them. All of them that are painted. Yeah. So let's sort what we got, see what we're going to base, see what we're not going to base. Because it could reactivate the colors underneath. Because all these figures are sealed way back when I used to do 2 coats of semi-gloss. Model Master semi-gloss. I don't want to get reactivated by putting the lacquer on it. So we're just going to brush them with Vallejo. And the only reason I'm doing it that way is because they already have a sealant on them. They already have a lacquer spray. And I don't want that to get reactivated and we got other issues. Okay, hopefully we have a good signal here because it's kind of a stormy day. So let's take a look at what we got here. And we're going to need to get our glasses, and I don't mean those, I mean the super readers. And if it gets real bad, we'll take the contacts out. I think we should be able to handle this with 325. I think that's what this is. Okay. So we got Americans, Germans for the most part. I'm going to signal. I'm going to take the guys out that I know have the wording on their stand that's good to go. Okay, we got some guys like these Brits. They have the old style font. I'm not going to. I'm fine with their names. I just don't want it to have that font. That's font that we used to use in the early '90s. So let's just take a look at these. We've got most of the Americans here. We've got a submachine gunner, Marr, Johnson. We got here Ludlow, Anderson. I believe he's the LT. No, he's not the LT. One of these is the. Is this the LT? Yeah, Jeffers is the LT. He's got the little LT stripe on the back of his helmet. These guys are Russian. So the Russians, I'm not super happy with them. They're FAA guys. I don't really like the way they're. These are the Russians are the second batch of these guys that I paint. I have some really, really early Germans, which maybe like this guy right here. And these are some of the first figures that I learned how to paint or experimented painting layering style, probably in '93 or something like that. And I'm probably not going to paint him at all. I mean, we're just going to forget he exists. The next, and that was like a squad of Germans that I did. And some of those guys have been stripped. These two guys are not. The Russians that I have, I painted a Russian squad afterwards, and they're painted pretty much, they're FAA figures, unfortunately. I think I'm going to redo their faces like the flesh blend. So I'm going to set them off to the side, and they're going to need, they're just going to need new wording on them. It's kind of just a boring font. But anyways, continuing on with the Americans, we got a junior officer here, Varela, Moran. Actually, he does have a magnetic bottom. Higgs, he's the FO. These guys are pretty much ready to go. This is Abernathy and Downs, the 30 cal group. That guy's Russian, 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 that guy's Russian. This guy's a new Russian, meaning I painted him not originally when I did him, so I'm okay basing this guy. This is Gebev. He's got the new lettering, so he's good to go. Grigoriev, he's also good to go, another rifleman. And actually, I have a few here. Budenkin, another rifleman. Another Russian rifleman, Goldash. Okay, those guys are okay, and the mortar crew's okay. The four-man mortar crew for the Soviets. And Wallace is the sergeant chewing on the tobacco. This guy looks pretty cool. Crawford, yeah. And Dickerson. Stop being such a Dickerson. Terry, not his last name, not his first name, last name, Terry. Okay, these are Russians. Okay, so these are all good to go. More Americans. Calvin, Young, Scott, Jones, Willard, Morris. These are 60 millimeter mortar guys. And these guys are all Krauts, looks like. And these guys are Krauts too. All right, so with that said, let's do a couple things. First thing we're going to do is, let's get these magnetic base bottoms and see how they fit on one of them. These are supposedly sized for pennies. We'll see. I hope I don't regret getting these. Because the ones I got before were a little bit bigger and I had to trim them down. I didn't mind that because then I can have the edges smooth one on top of the other. I have a feeling I'm gonna end up taking these contacts out. Let's look at Jones here. Okay, forget what I said. This must have been the size that I got because they're a little bit bigger. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna go take my contacts out. I'll be right back. Okay, now let's get rid of these damn readers. We need 6.0 magnification. And let's get rid of this. Now, what do you have left here? So let's see how the fit and finish is on this. Yeah, this must have actually been the same one I had because they were a little bit larger. And this is the .75s. That's supposedly the size of a penny, is 3/4 of an inch. But either this is wrong or the pennies have been worn down by, which is, possible. So, yeah, I actually have quite a few figures done, but they're all done, old school. The basing's all old school. So let's go ahead and put bases on all these guys for starters. And let's just focus on the Americans. I actually painted these figures for a scenario that I ran at a convention that did not go well. It did not go well because I just I didn't plan accordingly. And by planning accordingly is we're at our convention we're forced to have all our games in a 4 hour. And as a matter of fact, almost 20 years ago, almost to the day, in September of 2004 was the last time I played with these guys and the last time I played with these rules. So almost 20 years ago. And he's going to get a special magnet on there. What's this caching on? Get out of here. Okay. And at the convention, at our convention, we're forced to have 4 hour sessions. So in 4 hours, I had to get everybody, explain the rules to them, and then play. And we didn't get very far. So it was, even though it was a small scenario out of skirmish campaigns, it still was too big to get people to learn how to play the game. So, we're going to have this is going to create a bunch of trash, isn't it? So this is, I think these are laser cut in some way or another, and I've got little crumbles that are left here. Little crumbly cookie. And even though I'm not planning on traveling with these figures, I think it's handy for them to be magnetized. Then you can put them on a tray and move them somewhere, and they're not going to fall all over each other. Although they don't tend to be top heavy, but still. Keep them from hitting the floor. And it makes the base just a little bit thicker, so it's kind of nice. I like it. Now, the only reason we're doing it this way is because this is a retrofit. So any new figures, it'll already be on this magnetic bottom before we do anything to them. Hey, Mr. Jeffrey, in the UK, exhibitors tend to strip down the rules that they use for participatory games at show. Buffering. Yeah, it's storming here. Well, I plan on correcting it by not running anything at a show. The other thing that I realize is that ever since then, I think my personality has changed quite a bit. A lot of it is due to just being older, and a lot of it is due to, the bullshit that I've done at work. And one of the bullshits I've done at work is explaining things to people, and then they don't listen. And I really have about no tolerance for that. So I don't like the idea of putting on some kind of a game with people that may not like the scale of the game. I'm wasting my voice on people that shouldn't have even been there to begin with. So I play this. It'll be people that I know for a fact are interested in this. They've already seen the game being played, or what have you. But just being rushed and trying to get it done in a 4-hour session, it's like, hey, this game's going to take as long as this game's going to take. And making the game more simple, well, I'm not interested in painting figures for a simple game. Because the only thing I'm going to get out of it is the narrative. And if the narrative is super generic because the game got simplified, then I'm just not interested, And if I'm not interested, well, then there's nobody putting the game on. So I'm not necessarily interested in playing. I'm interested in a narrative developing with enough detail that keeps me interested. Great, now we got flicker. It's not storming that bad. As a matter of fact, you guys can't even hear it because I can't hear it. But we should be on tomorrow morning. We got that stupid, they want to call it a hurricane. It's not a hurricane yet. I don't see how it's going to do anything other than just be inconvenienced and wet. But it's coming straight. It's going to work its way exactly towards where we're at. But Just one of those things. The Hoffman. Welcome, man. Well, we're going to base all these guys. We're going to get all these guys based up, then we'll roll into painting your figure. So, the problem with the game is, it's not really a problem, but I'm to the stage where I need to make the terrain base. I can't do the terrain base until I have the tables. I can't do the tables until my garage is picked up. We got my daughter's stuff from college in there, so it's probably going to be a few months before I can put the game on, even with having everything ready. So there's no point sitting idly. Might as well do other stuff. So now is as good a time as any as basing these figures, which I was a little leery of doing because I wasn't sure I was going to be happy with how they turned out. But after I've done a few of them, I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. So I am psyched. It's almost easy. It almost would be easier to pop these guys off the stand, put them on a new base. But I'm not going to do that. Because then I've got these pennies that I can't use for anything with paint on there. But anyhow, that's what we got the stuff from Litco today. I'm having a epic story of the thing that I ordered from eBay. It's a good thing I don't really need it right now, or I'd be really pissed. But if you ever ordered anything from eBay and it says method of shipment and it says speed pack, just avoid that like the plague. So I'll either get it eventually or I'll get my $12 back. From what I've seen over the past few years watching Vids of Historic on other U.S. shows, there's a difference in attitude. U.S. seems to play full games, which we consider participation. Yeah, I saw a few videos of Historicon, and I didn't go this year, and I didn't mind not going this year. I didn't see any game there that I really wanted to play. So why am I going then? To shop? I don't need to shop. So that's nice. I didn't feel like I got screwed not going. Unfortunately, it means I'm probably not likely to go the next year, or the year after that, or the year after that, or the year after that, or. It was just a phase, and it wasn't necessarily because it was a cost issue. Honestly, for 5 days, it was pretty inexpensive, considering how much fun I had. But it just takes up too many vacation days, which are really, I'm really limited on. And the work that I have to do before I go on vacation. So, it was a good run. That's just going to add more stress to my life. Oh, that's a Russian. You can wait. You can wait your turn, comrade. In the UK, there are participation games where the public enjoy and demo games where clubs play among themselves. I don't know what the hell a club is. I guess my old group would be like a club, but we don't have any communal terrain. Any communal stuff. I was trying to figure out what Little Wars was doing, where they had that communal room. Like, I don't know if that belongs to somebody or... Okay, do these have magnetic base bottoms? He does, and so does he. Okay, so these guys can get moved over here. All right, let's continue. Let's just keep going. Let's go ahead and do the Soviets. Now, some of these Soviets that I did, I'm going to have to repaint them or just move on with them. I don't really like the way the flesh looks. And they're FAA figures on top of that. I think I could probably salvage them and they look okay. But These guys aren't. These guys are combat. These four guys are combat, and these four guys are battlefield, or I don't know if it was Drew's militia or battlefield. I don't remember which one it was at the time. Well, the thing about those cyclones is they always have the timing of them off. They always say they're going to hit sooner than they do. So it's probably going to be Monday. But I'm not worried about it. It's just, tomorrow we got to pick up the garage and make it so that we can move both cars in there if we need to. Only because, trees and shit outside. But wife bought a generator last weekend, so I doubt we'll have to use it, but we got that. I was out here doing my show and the wife's out buying generators. Well, she can't do the show, so, We've never had one before, and the price on it was right. It's if we never used it, it was okay. It wasn't like it was a whole lot of money or anything. Just basically to run the refrigerator outside. But all my years living in Florida, I think we've only lost power due to a storm 3 times maybe. So it's not really likely to happen. But the worst thing about a storm is people just go, before the storm, people go crazy. People are like, they're like, what's the name of that movie that I haven't seen? Where it's like the one night a year where you can, the Purge. Yeah, everybody's running around like the Purge. Like, man, chill out, man. I live in an area where, fortunately, there's not really any damage really happens unless there's a tree that falls on you. And the best way is just to keep trees off of, if your tree is 60 feet tall, it needs to be 60 feet away from your house. Of course, they don't do that. They got people that like to live here like the Ewoks. But the situation here is better than it was at the other house, for sure. And we have a shitload of natural light in this house due to that. You've been a club member in the past, but tend to find that 2 or 3 folks drive the agenda of what the games are played before you know. A force prepared. The gameplay changes after 3 months. Yeah, I want to do what I want to do. I've played with the guys in months. And, one of the nice things is that I don't have to worry about leaving work by a certain time and like holding up the whole gameplay. But there's a time where they were doing all the cool stuff with, before while I was at work, and then I left work and we couldn't do that stuff anymore. And then I played the cool stuff and I'm like, oh, really, I wasn't missing anything. But it's just gotten to the point where work is so hectic that I need to have gaming work around my schedule instead of my working my own schedule around other people that aren't as busy. Yeah, and do all that stuff, do all the filming, do all the editing on the videos, and then after you're done with all that, some guy who's never even played the rules says, "Hey, I think you played this wrong." Say hi to your mom in the basement that you're living in, dude. I'm a lot happier now. Let's just roll into the Germans. Now, I'm only going to roll into the Germans that I'm okay with a base plate name that's on them. Okay, we got Kellner. Yeah, see, this guy got the old naming thing. We got to redo his base. Stefan, he already has one. Okay, cool. This is one of my favorite poses, this Mueller guy. But he's got the old name, so we got to redo his Schneider, yep. He's got the old one, Langman, he's got the old one, Worth. Lights, Gluck. He's part of the mortar crew. Becker's got the old naming. Littmeyer. Niemak. This is a pretty decent Platoon 20 figure. Actually, a really decent Platoon 20 figure. That's the old number. Lehman, guy laying down on his job. Schaefer. Ahrens and Feltner. Olszewski. Corporal Metzler. Kreisler, who's the lieutenant. Yep, he's got the old one. He's got the old one. Old. Jurgensen. I'll have to print those out. Schenke. Dorman. And these guys, of course, old. Okay, so that's all we're going to do on that. And we can go ahead and pull the Soviets out because the Soviets also have the basing on it. Okay, so these I'm not going to worry about because I need to redo their label. They're all painted well. I just need to redo their label. I game at other folks' houses nowadays. 3 groups at some common members, different genres, games played, also play solo, which is where nuts comes in. Yeah, I'm going to do what I do, and, well, you guys will be along with me. Not that I don't want anybody to play, but it's like, hey, it's got to be what works for me. I'm the one doing all the heavy lifting. And I'm prepared to solo this. Now, one thing that I wish I was more computer savvy, but if I was, I don't know if that would really help anything, because I've got that table. Somebody talked me into getting that tabletop simulator, and it's probably one of the pieces of software that I regret buying the most because I literally tried to use it a couple times, and it overheated my computer so much. Like, and the fan's just going crazy. And it's like nothing's happening there. But there's people that use it to like play. I mean, I could play this on Tabletop Simulator, I guess, if I knew how to operate Tabletop Simulator. That's just going to take time away from doing this. And like I've said before, this is what's therapeutic. Playing the game isn't. Not that it's stressful, but it's not therapeutic. If playing the game is stressful, you need to play with different people. I actually had a dream the other night where I was teaching somebody how to play these rules. I guess that's my sign. Make it happen. We looked at the rules the other day, and I was like, this isn't that bad. You just got to do it. The main thing that's going to get me to do it is have the game look good, and I think we got it to the point where I'm happy with that. And it's too hot in the garage right now, although it's cooler than Mitch's house. But that's still not good enough, so. The temperature in my garage is actually really nice. A guy who did an excellent job of insulating it, so. And the lighting is as good as it is here. Maybe even a little brighter, if you can believe that. TTS is a bit of a chore. Play Age of Sigmar on it during lockdown, but fiddly and time consuming. Yeah, I figured that was the case. It's, it would probably take you 3 times longer than it would in real life. I actually got it because there's a guy that wanted me He lived in another country, and he wanted to learn how to play DBA 3.0. And it was either I think it was right. It was like I think right at the lockdown. And I'm like, that's perfect, because I like to get up early, right? Which is a normal time for most people. So I'll get up in the morning at my 5 a.m. and we can do games and we can film them. They're able to film it and stuff like that. Like, sure, I'll. And it was in another language too, another language that I speak. And I'm like, okay, well that could work, you know. And we tried to get together, and I think we got together one time because what ended up happening, all these ideas that I had that was great, but the guy ended up like running some kind of nightclub. So the fact that he ran some kind of nightclub, his schedule was like the polar opposite of what a normal person's would be, and he was never available when I was free. So it was like great. So I got this tabletop simulator. Luckily, it only cost $20 or whatever, but I've literally used it twice. And the two times I've used it, I mean, it's like, I mean, my computer is freaking hot, and it's like it's not even doing anything. It has static stuff on there. I don't understand why it's so, I mean, if you're moving stuff around, I see it. It's like it's got to update it into the space and bring it down to the other computer and adjust it. But I don't understand why that game was so demanding. Um, but that's just for me to get good at that, I gotta spend a lot of effort on that, and I'm just not willing to do it. I'm just not interested enough to do it. Um, I'm not. So if that's gonna take time from painting and doing this stuff, and it's gonna get me frustrated. See, this day, the only frustration with this is like, let's say, like I start doing this and nobody comes on, so I don't get very far. Okay, so I go do something else with my day, or I'm in the middle of a show like this and somehow it gets disconnected and I don't know. And, an hour goes by and nobody comments on everything because you guys have left and I didn't know about it. Tabletop Simulator would be like a long time. It was like the one time there's this game that I came across and I still really like this game. And I don't know if they've ever gotten the bugs out of it. I'm not willing to give it another shot. I just don't want to bad enough. But there's this game called, it's very similar to Squad Leader called, God, what was it called? And it's a game that's ported on the computer, and it looks great. It's called, I can never remember. I can never remember what the damn name of the thing is called. It has such a non-exciting name for it. Let's see. It should be on my screenshot here. Lock and Load. Lock and Load Tactical. Okay? Lock and Load Tactical. It's a beautiful looking counter game. It looks absolutely beautiful. And it came out, and I know it's still in that beta bullshit or whatever it is. Okay? And we're going to take some we're going to take some, these are the bases for the generals. We're going to take some Litco bases here for these DBA stuff. What are we going to do? 40s. There's another pair of 40s. See what we can cut out. See what we can use a minimum of wastage. I bet 15 would be just fine for that. And I tried to get with two different people that I know face to face. And I told them about this game. And I just couldn't get the game to play right. I mean, one guy I tried like 8 times, and I basically wasted an hour and a half. I was pissed when I was done because I didn't do anything for an hour and a half other than frustrate him and piss myself off. We didn't get anything to show for it. I'm like, I'd rather paint. I would have been better off just painting. And I don't know that they've ever fixed that game. And it's a shame because it's a great game. It is. But, that's why painting is great, because you may not get a lot done and I may screw something up, but I know how to fix it, right? It's like the turtle in the hare. It's like I may go slow, but I don't have to start the fucking race again. We're constantly, moving towards the same goal. And I don't know. I don't that's the problem I have with computer stuff, because it's just I don't have the personality for that. Just like some people don't have the personality to paint steadily like this. Well, I do. This is a win. Eventually. All right, we're gonna. I want it to be inside the base a little bit, so I'm gonna stick this out a little bit. I don't want it sticking out, that's for sure. And we'll just cut across this line, and then we can trim it as we need to. I don't know how you have the patience to paint. I don't know how you have the patience to work on something and it works one time and the next time you try it doesn't work. Like, I'd be in the news. If your hobby's frustrating you, you need another hobby. That's damn close. So occasionally somebody will post on one of the Facebook groups I'm a member of. I did this on such and such on Tabletop Simulator. I'm like, I should fire that up. And then I never do because I'm just not an expert. Now I got to learn how to play the rules and how to manipulate Tabletop Simulator. Like, I'm just going to stick to painting. Let some other person do that. I can't be into everything. I wonder where that guy went off to. I think he probably got upset that I kept calling all Germans Nazis. Well, I would rather err on that than be one of those people that calls the Germans the what is it, the defenders of Europe? Yeah, we're not going there. We don't promote any kind of dictators here. As I'm basing Germans. Hey, the Germans are cool. There's no doubt about it, but they're rat bastards, you know. Let's go ahead and cut this here. Sorry, Hoffman, your guy's a rat bastard. You know what I mean. I mean, they got to do what they got to do, but... Started reading a book in the last week, and it's about tank guys, British tank guys, of the sister regiment of the regiment that I painted in the 8th Armor Brigade. Just pure dumb luck. These guys are 4th, 9th Hussars, and those guys are the Sherwood Rangers, I think that's what it is. Anyways, I'm just at the beginning of the book, so we'll see. Hopefully there'll be some scenarios in there. You like that rat bastard? Yeah. You know. There was a guy in my early stages used to come on here when I was playing DBA stuff. And I always asked people where they're from. And he said he was half Thai and he was half German. And he hated the fact that he was half German. I'm like, why? I mean, I guess you're allowed to hate where you come from, but it's not your fault, you know? You don't get to pick who your mother is. You're off. Busy day tomorrow. Won't catch you live tomorrow morning. Oh, man, long day? Well, your day's going to suck. You don't get to start your day off with me. Oh, man, be well. We'll catch you on Sunday. How about that? I always thought that was strange that people don't like what their heritage is or whatever. Like you have a choice. You know, you don't get to pick who your mother is. I just figured everybody would, you know, be proud to some degree of what their heritage. It's not like that's your fault, you know? Now, this guy came attached to the mortar, which is kind of unfortunate. Well, he's a nice figure. That'd be an opportunity to do something cool with the base there. I think I'm going to go a little bit. I want to make sure that we have a good fit on that. We're going to go through all this effort. We're going to make these guys look good, you know? If you wanted me to do a shitty job, well, you should have called on somebody else. That's not like me. I make enough mistakes as it is. I don't need to create extra ones. Where does the Sama part come in? I assume Hoffman's part of your name or something like that. Where's the Sama part come in? You want to be Japanese or something? I was really getting into the. I'm going to read another book on the Pacific War, and I've got. When I say I don't know anything about the Pacific War, what I mean by that is I am not a war gamer expert on the Pacific War. Like, I could tell you that, not like I don't, I know all about the ships and stuff like that, but I know that they're so out of balance scenario-wise that I wouldn't be interested in doing it. But, compared to the public, yeah, I'm a freaking expert. But, from a war gamer, somebody who's like, compared to my knowledge of, like, say, Russia or North Africa, I'm basically blind. And it's only because I'm wargamed it. That's how you learn stuff, wargaming. Assuming you want to learn stuff that way. And there's lots of people that are just perfectly happy just playing the game, just to play the game. Now, Hoffman isn't part of your name. It was just some dude I saw in the newspaper. It looked goofy. It became a long-running joke. Okay, well, there you go. Honorary Hoffman. Yeah, I went down the wormhole, like, looking this week. I'm like, most common Japanese the Japanese got me thinking. I just don't want to do as much as I realize that they've got the combat miniatures Marines. I just don't like any of the island hopping things. I think it's just too static. I think it's too. I mean, I would do Guadalcanal, but then the Marines they have aren't for Guadalcanal. Because the Marines in Guadalcanal, like, they didn't have Grands. They basically had Springfields, and those figures have Grands, so that's no good. I mean, I guess I could just pretend, but I'd be up for doing Guadalcanal. That'd be great, but so we'd have to do like Burma or something like that. We'll have to do some research. Who was where? We're Australians in Burma, because that's an opportunity. You got to do Australians. That way you can do that as well. Get everybody mixed involved in it. But right now we're just building shit. Okay, that's about right. Now, unfortunately, because he's stuck with a mortar, if this guy gets shot and the mortar's still there, well, then we'll have to put a little ring or something around him to remember. But if your mortar man's shot, somebody's not doing their job, because this guy's not a frontline fighter, right? This guy shouldn't be in the front lines doing his thing. The island hopping isn't interesting to me either. Yeah, that's not to downplay the freaking. I mean, I just got done watching the Pacific. That was freaking hell, man. That was hell for both sides. But man, the uniforms. They were horrible uniforms that they had for the Marines. They were like freaking pajamas that were like 2 sizes too big. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but it didn't look very appealing. And not knocking any Marines. They don't get to design their uniforms. You know, if they did, they would have done a better job. You know, they're the ones that get to wear them. Now, I do like their little helmet camo. That's cute. And cute's good. I like that. Yeah, just imagine a 16-inch shell lands on the board. You know? Whoops! You know? How'd this get out of whack? No, we're going to run with it. I normally would put this on it and then trim around the edge, but the edge is wood, and it's going to be a little too easy to damage it. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, I don't want to build any LVTs. No. Honestly, I'd do China if there was more variety of Chinese figures. There's literally one manufacturer. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put these little bits there. You may need them. Like that. Okay, is that everything now? This guy have a base? Yes. Okay, I think that's all of these guys are spoken for. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way. Have you seen Battle Cat's World War II line? No, I have not. I've never even heard of Battle Cat. Battle Cat's World War, as opposed to Cringer's World War II line? Didn't think I knew that, did you? I don't know why I remember. Used to run home from school, watch that show and G.I. Joe and Transformers.